I want to thank the judges after the field trial here, and I wanted to ask some questions to clarify a little bit, just for learning purposes, of which the novice trainer or something, what we're trying to look for, and what you're judging. I'm going to go through a couple of points here just to get your explanation that the novice person may not know at all. The credit points that we have eliminated here is not eliminating, but the credit points that we have for dogs. Talk a little bit about. Some of them are self-explanatory. You know, natural game finding ability in a gun dog, a lot of that's being bred out. What do you like to see in a dog?
Well, I'd personally like to see a dog going out there, getting to the point where the fall is, where the bird's dropped, and just getting out there and working for itself. So basically, it's got to get there to the fall, work out if the bird's wandered off or if it's dead on the spot, whatever. Sometimes we've got to help it. There's a ditch or something, or a pond, just tell him where it is. But basically, you should be able to shoot that bird and send your dog for it, and then be looking for the next bird.
There's a lot that's been said, especially in the American circles, about drive. About, oh, I like a dog with a lot of drive. Drive to a dog's like speed to an athlete. What is the differentiating qualities that you see and that you look for in this trial?
Well, you like to see a dog that goes out with a bit of enthusiasm, obviously. But sometimes enthusiasm can lose what we've just been talking about, game finding ability, because a dog can be going too quick for its own nose. So you then get a mixture of both. So you get a real fast dog which gets to the fall where the bird's dropped, and all of a sudden the bird's dropped there, and the dog's run by where it's foul. We saw it a couple of times today. The dog ran over the bird, didn't we?
Yes, we
both said that. And it came back, found the bird, but the dog's already ran over that area. So sometimes you call that eye wiping yourself.
Speed, but speed on the other hand is counterproductive to a good nose. So speed you can actually overrun a bird because you're overrunning your nose's ability to transfer information to your brain. So
I've heard pointer guys say that a dog is only as fast as his nose.
Yeah, right.
And I think upland game people, and me being a pheasant hunter myself, I can appreciate that. Understand how dogs' noses are very important, and sometimes in field trial situations in our country, dogs are so eye-oriented from breeding for marking ability that they're looking for birds rather than smelling for birds. And we saw dogs that kind of went freelancing for themselves today, where they saw something, thought it was a bird, ran over, maybe ignored a couple of whistles because they thought they saw the bird, but that wasn't what their handler had in mind, and it wasn't what they needed to be doing.
I call that becoming self-employed.
Yes.
Rather than listening to the handler, they're making their own decisions and ignoring the handler. So.
And also what you've got to understand then, if you're out on a day shoot and you've shot a bird, your dog's gone off 200 yards in the wrong direction or out of control, you're flushing birds which you haven't got a chance to shoot at. So you're pushing game away from where you're meant to be hunting as well. So that's why if you want the drive, but you need the drive under control. Basically, that's what we're looking for, control. We want to see a bit of drive and style. The style, where you say the drive and style, the style's like the waggy tail, the enjoyment issue of being out there working, which sometimes is taken away with that collar.
Let's talk a little bit about the style points, and I'd ask y'all a little bit about this today, because that's more of a nondescript item that you look and you pick up in dogs. If you could explain that just a little bit, like style points that you would have either on the line or making a retrieve, delivery, any of those things that would have the ability to mark a dog up because they have good style points. If you could just tell me a little bit about that.
Well, again, the style. You get the dog to the area, picks up a bit of scent, the dog's got a nice waggy tail and it's hunting it out, it's working it out for itself. You watch the dog, and what that dog does then, if you like to see this dog working, if it's a difficult retrieve and it's find the time to find it, you're not on its back. You're not thinking, oh, I'll call that dog, I'll bring that dog back and give another dog chance. You'll give it more time because the dog's working for itself, it's enjoying working, but it's under control and it's working in the right area. That tail, when it's wagging, is what we call the style.
And he's working productively.
Exactly. And he's working for himself and he's working part of a team. Every now and again he might glance back at you and have a look at you. That's no bad thing.
And then as we train, we may take a small ear and not mow it. a circular area, maybe 20 yards, and teach that dog to hunt within that confined area, and being there wagging his tail and smelling the ground and looking for a tennis ball or looking for a bird, and that's part of style. Everything is really part of style from the line manners on.
I was just going to mention, a dog at heel, obediently at heel, but very alert and focused on what's going on in the field. The handler doesn't need to be reminding the dog to be steady or to come back to heel if he's creeping. The delivery, dog that comes directly back to the handler, that's not out parading around with the bird or going to visit other dogs and things of that nature.
There's a fair bit of that today, to be fair, wasn't there? Where the dog would come back and they were frightened to get the bird off the dog. It came back, so it'd go around, it'd walk around, and rather than just, well, they could just put the hand down with one hand and take the bird off the dog. Well, they didn't do it, so then the dog, you get yourself into a bit of mischief then. I'm not saying I want a dog to come in and sit up and present the bird. It looks nice when they do that, it does. But I just want to get that bird off the dog. And again, you want to see a nice clean pickup and a nice clean delivery. Pick the bird up. I don't mind them sticking it down if they want to just re-grip. If the bird's kicking around in their mouth, that doesn't matter. But if they keep putting it down, and that's when it's going to start losing points.
Okay. The quickness in gathering game, with the American trials and some of the things that I've seen, you know, there's a lot to be said for the lining. There's a lot to be said for control, because if it gets off a line, then you'll see a lot of corrections. I didn't notice that today. That goes with the natural game finding ability, but the quickness in gathering game, and you know, being on the mark and goes to the area, picks it up fast and comes back. Where's the differentiation between that and the lining that we see in some of the other trials that are done, especially in America?
The lining skills in American trials are based on a particular mark and a particular location and precision handling to get there. And in the British trials that I've been involved with in Ireland and here in the States too, it's not a precision handling drill. It's more based on nose. You can use the wind and determine which way the wind is blowing and send your dog downwind from the birds you want to pick. And as soon as that dog picks that scent trail up, it'll turn and go to the bird. So it's not a precision handling affair like a lot of American field trials, where they're handling to a particular point, straight line, absolute. And one of the other things is what they call cheating on water. A lot of British labs will go around the water and take the shortest point to the water, come back out to the bank and make a fast return. Where in American field trials, they call it sure enough cheating, and I guess it'd be probably disqualifying if you did it too many times, because they have a certain route they want to take. There again, it's just a difference in philosophy.
See, we don't mind
trainers
that.
and the trials, right?
We don't mind that on the water. If a dog comes around, we get a dry bird. If it goes the other side, you get a dry bird to go back home with. We don't want it going miles out of its way, but we don't mind if a dog goes across the water and thinks, oh, I'll nip round that way. I've won field trials when a dog's gone round. And I'd prefer it to come back across the route it's taken. I would much prefer it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to really knock a dog for doing it. Now, if you're in a run-off situation and one dog goes across the water and comes back across it, and the other dog goes round, well, the dog that's been across both times is going to win it.
And would that be due to courage concerns on water? Or?
I think sometimes it's due to what you just said, cheating. It's being a bit sly. It's found a way round. It's probably picked the bird and already looked on its route is going to come back. So I would like to hit the recall whistle, return whistle, and hopefully it'll come back to me in the water. But you know, it doesn't always happen. I said to you, I've won trials like it where my dog's gone round. I've also won trials across there and my dog's gone across and been the only one that comes back across. So it depends who's judging you, and it depends on what's happening really during the day.
Back to your question on the precision handling,